Well, Amanda and Danny, thank you so much for being here. I have been talking with you, Amanda, quite a bit lately, and it has been so amazing to see all of the incredible developments that On-Chain Monkey has made. All the news coming out with Asbury Bugatti yesterday, the fact you're the first to inscribe 10,000 piece project as a Bitcoin ordinal. So many firsts, so many great accomplishments that many in the NFT NYC community, we love you. We're so glad when you're involved with our event. We look to your team and your community as great examples of what is possible at this current time with the technology that we have. Not everybody knows about On-Chain Monkey. Amanda, maybe you could jump in and give a little insight in terms of who you are, and then we can introduce Danny as well.
Sure. Thank you so much for having us on, Ian, and we're so excited to participate in NFT NYC. Can't wait. My name is Amanda Terry. I am co-founder and chief operating officer for MetaGood. MetaGood is the company behind On-Chain Monkey. As you mentioned, we were the first to launch first 10,000 NFTs to be inscribed on Bitcoin. The company was founded back in May 2021. When we actually, and Danny launched the first PFP collection all on a single transaction on Ethereum. So all on chain, really, beautiful art as code. And we've created extremely strong community around On-Chain Monkey. People that, we always say On-Chain Monkey is your passport to the wealthy digital nation. And so wealth can be financial. It can be around physical health, it can be around social connectivity or impact, but we want to create wealth for our community that enables them to do real world good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Danny, you have quite a impressive background. But I think what's most important is not all the accolades and awards and accomplishments that you've done, but the stuff you're doing today. Based on my conversations with Amanda, it feels like you might be doing the best work of your life over and over and over again in some of these new innovations. I'd love for you to give the NFT NYC community a little context for who you are as the CEO and co-founder of On-Chain Monkey. Maybe you could touch on some of these really cool accomplishments in the past, but I really love to focus on today and what's getting you out of bed with a smile on your face.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thanks so much for having us on. Yeah, I mean, it's always, we're building for the future, and when you build for a future, you have all the luxury of what has happened in the past and what you've also learned from the past. So in my past, I mean, first I was focused on kind of math, science, physics, and then computer science. So, I did a few technology startups before I got into crypto. So I got into crypto in 2013. I started the Stanford Bitcoin meetup because I was very passionate about Bitcoin, seeing this as this, I mean, we all kind of are amazed still by, that Bitcoin exists. Someone created this, this chain, this blockchain that is decentralized. It is open. It basically is open for everyone to use, and valuable for everyone who uses it, and still works today. Many years later. And so, okay. Then it also actually spurred other developments, right? So Ethereum was something that was created because Bitcoin existed and people wanted to really focus on smart contracts, which wasn't so easy to do on Bitcoin. And so after I started the Bitcoin meetup, I also started a cryptocurrency exchange, and I focused on the Taiwan market to do kind of regulatory thing, everything properly. Because back then it was basically fiat to Bitcoin. It wasn't about pure crypto exchanges. It was fiat to Bitcoin. So you really had to have, banking relationships. So we started the MyCoin, and today it's the largest Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange in Taiwan, and it's doing quite well. After that company, I started another Bitcoin startup focused on data analytics. So my background is focused on technology, and that was then later sold in 2018. Our clients were many people in Bitcoin, and also the regulator, or rather the law enforcement and regulators, and also exchanges and individuals. We help people actually track down thefts and crime in Bitcoin. So we actually recovered millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, thousands of Bitcoin, for people who lost it. And then, as Amanda said, 2 years ago, we started MetaGood to focus on NFTs because we saw it as a really powerful technology and tool that could bring together communities. So actually, the three things that are our strengths and we focus on are basically technology, art, and community. Those are kind of three things behind MetaGood and also On-Chain Monkey. So as Amanda was saying, the original On-Chain Monkey launch on Ethereum, it's a combination of art and technology. It was this code that was very efficient that created the whole collection. But the collection is quite interesting. It has different traits, different variations, different probabilities of them, and written done as code. But it has this very iconic look, the On-Chain Monkey Genesis that we have today. And then we built this community that we can talk more about that is pretty awesome, and we we're part of it. We live in our community, and so yeah, art, technology, and community is our focus.
Yeah, I'd love to come back to you on something, but Amanda, I was hoping you could kind of clarify if I see your timeline correctly. Because the way I see your timeline is basically it started technology, went to art, and now is really focused on community. And the reason I say that is the very first thing that you did was the 10,000 collection of the original Genesis monkeys. And it wasn't beautiful art necessarily. It wasn't, there was no community. I mean, there was a free mint. People that would choose to engage with you. And that was technology, right? Because one single transaction on the Ethereum blockchain, On-Chain Monkey is what Avastars, cyber brokers, many others kind of will look and say, wow, look what was done. This is possible. We're doing this too. This is why this is a good pursuit. Technology. It was all about the why, why we did it this way, the importance of it, the long-term benefit. Then you went into art because when you came out with the Karma Monkeys, not only did it broaden the ability to expand with having, all of these new assets for people to acquire and use as a membership pass of sorts, but also the art really came out. This is the moment where people saw, oh, wow, this little piece of intellectual property that's this Genesis, like this can become anything. I mean, look at this iteration. I mean, what happens when it's 3D? What happens when it's in the metaverse, when it's the AR? So that was the transition in my mind last June from a technology focus to an art focus. And then at that point, I remember when I jumped on Twitter and I got all engaged with the On-Chain Monkey community last fall, and just realizing, wow, this was a really great path. We're starting about technology. We're going to get into the art of it all, and then we're going to take really good decisions to kind of spark this community. Amanda, would you want to speak into that? And do you think that's a interesting way to look at your timeline?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of nailed our narrative exactly. I mean, really, yeah, we were a free mint. We didn't do all the typical pre-marketing, Twitter, Discord marketing, but, we're minted out within 4 hours. And then we've kind of steadily and organically grown. And, what's so cool is even the Karma collection was one of our Genesis holders created a derivative of his monkey and posted on Twitter. And he got so many likes. We reached out to him. Turns out he was one of the lead animators behind the films of Rio, Ice Age, Ferdinand. We brought him on. He hired more of his, former colleagues. And it took him, 9 months to do this beautiful hand-painted collection with the Genesis of On-Chain Monkey. So, the Genesis of Karma is actually, the DNA from the Genesis collection. But yeah, I mean, that was incredible, as you said, kind of another iteration of Genesis, right, is Karma.
Right.
And then, from that mint, we gave 50% of our revenues of that public mint of Karma into a DAO. And, we've put 2,000 ETH, so, significant funds into the DAO to enable our community to build alongside us, which has just been kind of one of the most beautiful and exciting parts of what we've created at On-Chain Monkey.
The DAO structure, I believe we talked about this before. It's based off of open source Maybe you could share a little bit about why you chose the DAO structure that you've done. Maybe you could encourage other projects to look into that open source DAO structure if they don't understand kind of what Nouns has done and them making this kind of, protocol or whatnot accessible to others. I think people may not understand how possible it is to do these things technically, as long as the organization and leadership is willing to do what it takes with the community, which is really the hard part. But from the technical aspect, Danny, could you talk a bit about your DAO structure, where it's at, how you got it there, how maybe others could be inspired by that and try to emulate some of the things that your team has done?
Yeah, on the technical side for DAO, there are tools that exist that make it pretty easy to basically implement or to organize. So we use snapshot.org, which lets you do the whole community voting on individual or big proposals. And then we use that to propose using Prophouse, which is a Nouns DAO related tool where and they open up for projects who want to basically do. The idea for Prophouse is you can have small proposals that in fixed schedule, where then people in your community or outside can send proposals. And we also kind of iterate on that, where we have, this is our second season. The first season we did where everyone can submit proposals and in a fixed schedule. This season, season 2, we're limiting to or focus on our community. So you have to be a community member to submit these proposals. We've been getting great ones, and it's like very competitive to get.
And a community member is anybody that has either a Genesis or even a Karma.
Yes, that's right. Genesis.
Okay, so as long as you're a holder of one of the first 2 projects, or if there's a 3rd and 4th project, and you're a holder, then that would potentially signify that you're a community member. You can propose an idea to the DAO. Then the DAO, the community, can basically vote on this and decide whether it passes or not. And maybe, Amanda, you could talk about what you're doing at NFT NYC, what you just did at NFT LA, or maybe I think it's called Outer Limits now, because you allowed the community to decide what to do on their own without the oversight, without the stamping of approval necessarily, but kind of giving freedom, decentralizing IRL gatherings through the DAO method. Amanda, you want to chat about what the experience was like in LA and what we could look forward to in New York?
Yeah, what happened with Karma? Similarly, I mean, we had a proposal for Arts DAO in Dubai, where we currently don't have, a meta.
March 11th. That's right.
Yeah, and they put, holder put in a request, got funding for it, and they did a whole on-chain monkey activation in Dubai, and they did such an incredible job that when LA was coming up, we had some local people in LA who wanted to organize something, and we said, hey, let's see how it goes. Like, let's let them organize it and get funding from the DAO. And it was a huge success. I mean, we had
awesome.
75 people. We ended up joining forces with some of the ordinals crew, so we kind of had an on-chain monkey ordinals party. Super fun. People loved it. And so now we are, for this season, kind of seeing how it goes with enabling our community to, a prop just passed for, kind of IRL funding, and our community members can, organize events for the community and get funded through the DAO. So what's so incredible about New York is they kind of took LA, and now our communities effectively organized 3 days of events, from like workouts with the Monkey Misfits in Central Park, all the way through incredible art gallery and highline tours to, dinners and parties for, the 12th through the 14th. And a large portion of that is being funded through our DAO. And what I'm really excited about is we're doing an incredibly special event on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange on the 13th for our holders. So, this is
the night of the 13th after the programming kind of ends. I think maybe you said 6 or 7 p.m. and it's limited. It's kind of private invite only type of thing. So
yeah, just like On-Chain Monkey is your wealthy passport to the wealthy digital nation, your monkey is your ticket into this event.
To that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
do people need to RSVP in advance? Are you going to have a waiting list if it fills up? Should people feel motivated to sign up right now? Do they know where to go?
The RSVP is going to be coming out latest by Friday, and it will be first come, first serve. And then we probably will have a wait list. People have been asking, can you bring +1? Right now, it's pretty much for holders only, because it's a very exclusive event. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. And, we really are excited and, thankful to our partners at the New York Stock Exchange for hosting us for this.
Yes. Well, NFT NYC did a really fun thing on March 1st with the New York Stock Exchange. It was like a 3-4 hour gathering with a lot of the, primary important featured speakers. Probably, I think there's like 140 of us. And it was nice just to kind of be there and rub shoulders with one another as we kind of look forward to what's going to be happening this upcoming week. Danny, I had asked a question of you about what puts a smile on your face in the morning. What are you excited about today? And I think because there's so many things that you and your team are working on, that's more intriguing to me than maybe some of the executives that are solely focused on one specific thing. But you've been able to do a lot of cool, innovative stuff. Can you give a bit more insight in terms of, what are you passionate about? Is the work that you're doing today tied to something greater, like some sort of purpose? And how do you keep yourself inspired? Because, you've had great success over and over again. So hopefully this could be an encouragement to other entrepreneurs that remember, that's right, if I can just tie to something that is motivating, then that will help me get through these moments. So Danny, please.
Yeah, well, I'm quite excited by, kind of the kind of revisiting Bitcoin and people coming back to Bitcoin, or people coming to Bitcoin for the first time because of kind of these new possibilities. Ordinals protocol is very new. It's actually still being developed now, and new things are coming. And going back to the 3 points of art, technology, and community, it actually all ties together. So you have this new technology. We're also doing very cool art with things like Asprey and Bugatti, but also the technology and the art of the genesis, the DNA that we talked about. That is actually super relevant, because our next collection is this thing we call it Dimensions. We've been a little mysterious about, but it uses the DNA of your genesis, and it's going to be on Bitcoin. It's going to be pretty cool mix of art and technology. And that's also going to be the case for the one after that, which we announced actually a while back, but it's been kind of building and working on it. This is the collaboration with Alexandre. So he's actually creating a on-chain work that uses our DNA from Genesis and from Karma. So the Karma holders actually will get something quite special off of the DNA of their Karma, and it'll be something that is a mix of art, technology, and will be very cool, coming after Dimensions. So Dimensions is first, and so these things are all things that are we're really busy kind of getting out as soon as we can, and will be very, very exciting. After go ahead.
Well, to add to that, on the ordinals approach, right? This has been going on for 5 to 7 weeks, depending on when you think it started. And the other teams I've talked to are major Bitcoin miners, and their explanation of the process sounds basically like the most niche-y impossible thing to try to emulate. Then you hear all these new opportunities like, no, we can mint ordinals against Satoshis. This is scalable. And you hear lots of chatter. It sounds to me like, Danny, you approached this project, not just the 10,000 mint of the Genesis, but also I'm assuming you're approaching the project with Bugatti Asprey differently as you think through these different things. Can you give us some technical insight, like take us up to advanced level, and speak to those in the NFT NYC community that would like to learn from you on this? Because there's not consensus right now around what the Ethereum-esque NFT community ought to be doing regarding the Bitcoin chain and ordinals as a potential NFT replacement, supplement, whatever you want to call it. People have different perspectives, but take us to more advanced thought as a founding entrepreneurial programmer and developer. How did you do what you did? Whatever you're willing to share. Why did you choose to do that way? Are you going to keep doing it the way you've done it? or what can you teach all of us? Because I think we're still looking for clarity and truth as a community on how to approach the ordinals opportunity.
Yeah,
Moving forward.
absolutely. Well, first is, I think this is where there's this mix of art and technology that's really important, especially for Bitcoin ordinals. And the technology part is quite important. I think in the last, well, so let me be very specific. So the ordinals protocol specification actually is very clear and simple, which is actually the beauty of ordinals. It's actually a very simple protocol, but you could do a lot with that simplicity. And there's a difference between the ordinals protocol specification and actual, official ORD client and node, because that is a work in progress. The official, the ORD node that everyone's running is a work in progress. And there's actually a lot of additional features that you can add on to it that follow just a simple ordinal protocol specification. And one of those is important one is actually the collection provenance with parent-child. So that's enabled by the protocol specification that actually probably most people don't read because they're just reading kind of very high level how to get the node running, or which is an implementation. It's in a very early implementation of the protocol. So it does include all the bells and whistles as possible. And people can also think of new bells and whistles that you can do with ordinals, the protocol. So that's what's exciting, that we'll see actually a lot of these, new use cases and features and applications built on top. And part of that excited me when I first saw it was we can do generative art on Bitcoin in a very efficient way. You don't have to, hog up, Bitcoin's block space, which is very limited and precious.
Right, of course.
So these things are coming. They don't exist yet. So we can look forward to for Bitcoin.
So let me see if I get this right. And then maybe Amanda, you could jump in and clarify. I'm gonna kind of throw mud against the wall of what I think I've heard you share right now, Danny, what I think I've heard Amanda you share, so I can bring some clarity for your community that may tune into our conversation, and of course, the broader community. There are different ways of doing the Ordinals project. You found the most efficient way that would provide the least impact on Bitcoin as a blockchain. You minted the 10,000. You have a way of doing this now that is scalable. And so now you're looking at other projects. One is the Dimensions project that you mentioned, but it's still a lot of secrecy and privacy around that. But that would be an example of a on-chain monkey Ordinals project that's upcoming, which makes a lot of sense. But then yesterday you have all this information come out about Bugatti and Asbury and the egg that they're doing and your involvement in that. And I think maybe there's a lack of clarity on two things in that regard. One, why would On-Chain Monkey do a project? Is it just because Bugatti's such a impressive and important global brand? Or is there some other reason why On-Chain Monkey would want to connect with them? Is there something else that kind of ties to OCM or at least MetaGood? And then the next question I have is, can other brands come to you? Like, can Apple come to you and say, hey, we saw what you did with Bugatti, and, we'd love to find a way that we could do something really special together, Apple and On-Chain Monkey. I'm just throwing out an idea. If you have other brands come, are you open for collaboration? Are you looking for strategic partners? Like, is this something that you want people to come pitch you? Or is this a one-off thing? So maybe you could help us understand that, because it may narrow down the amount of inbound energy that your team has to field based on you being clear on what you're doing, why you're doing it, and kind of what is to come regarding strategic partnerships and collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so one is about building community, right? We mentioned that's one of the things that we're focused on, building community. On-Chain Monkey is our community. But now with Ordinals and Bitcoin, these are all communities, right? Bitcoin is a community that is trying to grow. Ethereum is a community that's trying to grow. So as we also help Ordinals, this new community, grow, it helps us. It helps all of us. There will be some ties with On-Chain Monkey, but then going back to how we even got Bugatti, right? It comes down to, we're known for our technology. We're a very reputable team. we've been building, and also we know NFTs, right? So it was actually, there aren't too many people you can pick from to do this with them. And Bitcoin is actually important too. So when they realized they can do what they wanted to do in digital assets on Bitcoin, for the egg, it just made sense because Bitcoin, we know is the largest or rather the highest valued blockchain, most secure, most decentralized,
Right.
and that's what Bugatti is this brand about being like they really care about high end for their art, for their cars, all things. Same with Asprey Bugatti, as we've mentioned, they've been around 100 like 200 plus years, 100 plus years. So
Yeah.
it's about like very enduring, everlasting, and what blockchain is better for them than Bitcoin. So when they knew that there was an opportunity on Bitcoin, and our team had expertise in it on the technology side, that it was a good fit.
I want to end with a conversation around the future and maybe instill some anticipation and vision into your community. But before we get there, I just had one more technical question, if you don't mind me asking. If people are interested in things that are heavier on media with Bitcoin, do you have a strong recommendation on music NFT projects, video NFT projects? Like, should people be thinking of putting GIFs? What do you think about people putting stuff on IPFS and attaching some sort of ordinal to it? So maybe you could just give a little clarity on that, because that maybe is one other thing that people hit a wall on, right? They hear it's going to be tens of thousands of dollars to mint an ordinal, and you have 4 megabytes of space, and they go to themselves, never mind. So maybe just a little clarity on the size.
Actually, you have much less than 4 megabytes of space. It's more like 400 kilobytes. Yeah, I mean, 4 megabytes is if you somehow work with
a whole block,
right? Take over the whole block and just say,
exactly.
I don't care about everyone else in the world who's trying to use Bitcoin for whatever other important purpose they have. I'm just going to take it over for this.
I see.
This 10-minute period, and that is not a very it's a different approach. It's not our approach.
Okay.
But that way.
I'm glad you said that. I think that's important because, there's a lot of project leaders that they're going to talk to somebody, and the person's going to say, hey, we'll put your whole project together for X amount of dollars. And we can do 4 megabytes at a time, a whole block. And in their mind, they think, okay, they have no idea about environmental impact, community impact, chain slowness. So that's why I'm glad that I had asked you that.
Yeah.
I want to be sensitive on. Go ahead.
We will see the price of the fees for any transaction probably go up significantly as people realize, there's more value in digital assets, right? These digital artifacts on Bitcoin. People. That's what we saw the last 2 years, where all these NFTs, mostly on Ethereum, right? They have a lot of value. Now we see CryptoPunks, right? They have a lot of value. And people do value them, right? And then people say, oh, actually, there are digital assets, pure digital assets that are on chain that actually have value. And so that will naturally, because of the nature of Bitcoin, as we said earlier, you'll see those migrate to Bitcoin, and people will want to inscribe high value digital assets, and they will want to pay a lot of money to inscribe them, right? So fees will go up, but that's better for miners. And people will want to secure the chain more, because of all the value stored on Bitcoin. So basically, you have this chain that has fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens.
Right.
So yeah, it's a win-win. And Lightning and other more scalable solutions for the fungible side of things, I think we'll see a lot more adoption too. So overall, it makes Bitcoin stronger.
I mean, I've been wanting to leverage Lightning as a network with our company, and every time I've had a conversation with a strategist, it hasn't been an opportunity for now. So I am very excited that new approaches have been taken. Before we end, I want to end the note and give some inspiration to folks about what could be for On-Chain Monkeys. So I just want to paint a picture for a moment, and then you speak into it. Stan Lee, created worlds for all of us with the Marvel, cinematic universe. Walt Disney, same thing. And the Pixar team, right? The DC team. And this is old intellectual property that adapted to new methods of distribution and fan engagement. And those were comic books and movies and comic cons and TV shows. So as you think through the intellectual property that's been created with On-Chain Monkey, as you think through the expansion of that IP with the Karma Project, with all the other things that are coming, you mentioned Dimensions. Nobody really knows what that is yet, but obviously there's a reason why you're doing it. And as you fast forward 5, maybe 55 years, and you think about the impact of the intellectual property that's being created in the On-Chain Monkey universe, we'll call it, and what maybe is to come in terms of that, what are some of the ideas and vision that maybe your leadership team has tossed around and put a little bit of focus on?
Yeah, well, I think there it's, I mean, so yeah, we're building our brand and our IP for, this future. Basically, the world is digital, right? And so
yeah,
digital assets are a big part of the digital world, or rather not yet, because it's just really, the crypto crowd that cares. But there's roadblocks in these other ones that, they're also, high value digital assets in their own ecosystem. But the power of crypto and decentralization is that then you're not part of any particular, centralized entity at their mercy. So, we see this, I think even big brands and like for example, like the entertainment, or like going to Disneyland or Disney World, right? That's going to be also mixed with online. So you can actually, basically enjoy the digital world mixed with IRL. And we focus on IRL too, right? So it's kind of, this world is your new kind of, Disneyland and part of your life. So, we're building out, this whole ecosystem, or rather the tools that, our community and others can be able to, use digital assets, be empowered by them, and also, kind of enjoy and be part of this ecosystem.
And I'd also add that some of the brands that you've mentioned, like Marvel and Disney, are kind of traditional, like Web 2 moving into Web 3. And what's so exciting is that we are Web 3 native. So, when we started, as you said, we were free mint. We've grown our community organically. And as, we create more value for our community, their token value also goes up. So it's like, instead of us being content creators to an audience, our audience is our community, and they're actually creating alongside us, which we see, through our DAO, through so many things that is actually community led, including, the art from our Karma collection. So it's just it's a completely new and different model, that, we're so excited and just honored to get to build and be part of, as Web3 natives.
Well, with my final 30 seconds before Danny gets teleported away from here to his next meeting, let me end by saying there's just a ton of things that the two of you, Bill, and the rest of your team have done that have been really, really good decisions. I'm so glad that things have worked out in your favor in the ways that they have. I thank you for your leadership in this industry. I thank you on behalf of the rest of the broader community, and really excited to see what's coming up next, and looking forward to spending time with both of you and the broader OCM community in New York next week for NFT NYC, the 12th through the 14th, and all the fun, cool satellite events that you and your team have going on. And until then, thank you for being here with me, and I'll see you soon.